and programs. I'm glad you're here to listen to wonderful program coming to you. And please don't forget to subscribe or give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, welcome to KJTV again for another episode. It's been some time back. Dr. Limu, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, and a lot has really passed in both in the US and the world at large.
Right, and I believe you traveled, so you have a lot to share your experiences.
I did. I was in the country of Kenya, and there is a lot. Yeah, Kenya's changing political landscape. What is your take there? What have you seen so far? Many things have happened with the entry of Matiangi to the presidential race and other things. What is your take on that?
Yeah. Thank you again for welcoming me to the call and to the station. So over the last, I would say 12 months since June 24th to June 25th last year, we have seen a tremendous change, not just in the political landscape, but also not just in Kenya, but also worldwide, with the entry of Trump coming in as a president of the United States, with his what I may describe as erratic policies in the front of the economy. And the tariffs have actually affected Kenya itself with a 10% slap on all imports coming to the United States across the board, including the garments that are coming from Kenya. So there's a lot that has happened. To be more specific, in the landscape of Kenya, we've seen the impeachment of Gachagua and the ripple effect of his impeachment. One would have thought that he would fade and just disappear from the political scene.
Yeah.
But he has become so vicious to an extent that he's a pain on the neck.
Yeah.
And WSR's administration.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that has happened, and I believe as we discuss here, we're going to dive into what has happened.
And now, basically, one of the things after all those geopolitical things in other countries, but now specifically in Kenya, there is a lot of bitter phenomenon against a government, which I have not seen in a present time or any previous time, that people are against a regime, which mainly concern some of the people. People are so bitter about the Kenya Kwanza government, and that even that's what has even made entry of Fred Matiang to the race, where actually people call him. I can say he's the first president I've seen where the public demanded that he comes to the race. And that bitter phenomenon, but I don't know if that momentum will be kept up to the election time.
Right. So part of the reason why, let's step back a little bit and look at the genesis of why Kenyans are disappointed. And people get disappointed because in general, even in our private lives or personal lives or workplace life or wherever you are, disappointment is because expectations are not met.
Yeah.
And when expectations are not met, it's because before you get disappointed, there were some expectations you expect. Yeah. And those expectations just don't fall from the sky. Those expectations are built. So during the campaigns leading up to the election of 2023 of William Ruto, 2022 as a president of the Republic of Kenya, he had created so much expectations from his campaigns. He created this picture of amazing Kenya post his election being president. So people went into and knowing that now Kenya is forever changed. They knew from the way he campaigned for 5 years, telling them, bottom up, the Hasra government, everything is going to change. All Jerusalem is here.
Mm.
So when Kenyans now went into his administration, they had so much
hope,
expectation.
Mm.
And the disappointment now is not because of Matiangi being an angel or anything. It's because they have been so disappointed that what William Ruto promised Kenyans, they're not seeing it. In fact, they are feeling that they were cheated. So because of this, therefore, they are bitter. Not because of anything, because expectations have not been met. And who created the expectations? President William Ruto himself. So I don't think he should blame anybody. So that's my take.
Okay. Welcome, Ben, welcome to the group. Yeah, you are muted.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you comment that, is it true that President Ruto created his own storm, that he overpromised and is under delivery?
Yes, he did. I agree with Dr. He went to the churches and he agreed to support them 100%. He went and they said he will fund the youths. You remember? He said, I will start giving them loans, which they were not going to be paying back. There are many things that he lied to the Republic of Kenya, citizens of Kenya, that people are worried. Actually, he's not going to be voted out. It's like people don't need him. No one wants him, actually. Even if you go to the Rift Valley right now, the reason is that people don't want to say. People are fed up of who Ruto is, and he's with you.
But let us say, we say one day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Yes.
They might be angry now. How about if come 2027, he would appease them and
right.
Voters forget very quickly.
Right, I do agree with you. And Andrew, one thing we should not forget, this is only almost 2.5 years into an election.
Yeah.
Very early on. Number two, Ruto is a very shrewd politician. He has never lost an election. He has never lost an election. So we must give him credit. He's very shrewd, he's very smart, and I believe he has a strategy. The 2 years that are remaining from now until then, you might see miracles. The promises will start trickling in, and people will eventually start saying, wow, we passed a judgment way too early. That's number one. Number two, being a shrewd politician, and we have even heard him say this somewhere else, that it's not what you do right now. It's what you do just before people walk into the ballot box. You only get them to understand you when they are walking into the ballot box, not now. It's too early. So he's very shrewd, and that's exactly what he will do. Believe me.
But he's even in a campaign mood right now. And you can see that is the greatest, that Ruto begins a 4-day tour in Nyanza with a bag of goodies. Is in Nyanza, and what do you take of that? That I really wonder when President Ruto really sits in his office to make decisions about governance, because I've always seen him out. I never knew when he gets there. But you can tell that he's already on the campaign mood, which means he looks a scared man.
Right. He never stopped campaigning even when he won. We never know, though. Ruto has been always very, very great in his campaigns, especially when he's running against somebody. Right now, he doesn't know who he's running against. So he might not appear to be as strong, because he knows how to manipulate the reality to be more like an illusion. Because remember, he became an opposition while he was deputy president, and he successfully became an opposition. He was very able very capable to turn everything around. He's a sitting deputy president.
Yeah.
In the day, in the morning, and in the afternoon is the opposition, very strong opposition. And Kenyans believed him and they followed him. They saw a change from himself. Remember, he was sitting deputy president and he was running against himself, and he convinced all Kenyans that I'll be the person to be bringing the change. Yet he was a person who was sitting in office.
But at the same time, that thing will work against you, because it looks like there is that bitter venom right now among Kenyans. And let us face the fact. Not that Ruto won with a landslide. He won with a very slim margin. And the great constituency which voted for him has lost him, has left him. The Mount Kenya region, we can say that's already gone. Where do you see is Matt is? Because, you know, because of his performance, that's why he's losing. Where is his way of going to convince the same people?
Yeah, it is true. The Daktari is saying that he has never lost. That's a fact. But he will be the first one to go home within 5 years. That's a win, because he will be kicked out in 5 years. No one else in the office in Kenya or in Africa in the first term has gone home. He will be the first one. Why am I saying so? Because Mount Kenya now, they are very mad, very, very disappointed with Ruto. They are seeing very cheated. They feel very, if you can listen to the leaders in Mount Kenya, you can feel the pain they are feeling. Why we didn't listen to Uhuru? So people don't want to make another mistake of 5 years. We are too far now to maybe 2 years from now. But Dr. Ndumi, I'm saying that Kenyans, they are bitter. They are bitter indeed.
Okay.
Right.
And again, I think, Daktari, it is something there I wanted to also to note. You say that he always come back and lie to people. Can he bring the youths who have died back? Parents have not forgotten, Dr. Ndimu. This is the guy who has killed the youths. Some can't be found. He has never answered that question. Will he bring them back to convince us that he is the president who is protecting the Kenyans?
Now, yeah, that's a good question. Will he bring them back? I mean, the sentiments are real on the ground. But now, come the entry of Fred Matiang. How has it changed the dynamics of the presidential election in Kenya? Now, Matiang came, he introduced himself. Of course, he's on the race. What do you see in that, Dr. Nim?
Yeah, with the entry of Dr. Matiangi in the race, I hear it has generated a lot of excitement. A lot of excitement because of his history when he was the CS in the previous administration prior to the current one.
Yeah.
People are looking for something different from what we currently have. They are looking for somebody who can deliver.
Yeah.
Because in the present administration, there was a lot of overpromised things. So many of them were promised, and nothing, according to several Kenyans, has been delivered yet.
Yeah.
Now, during his tenure as a CS, especially in education, every Kenyan got to know him.
Yeah.
Because schools are in every village. And there were changes that we've seen in the villages because of his actions that he took.
Yeah.
To the present day, there are too many of those changes that he put in place that people can point to.
Yeah.
And because of that, he brought those expectations. Now, the reason why he has brought in some excitement is not because of anything. They are looking at a person who promised so much, and people are not feeling the difference, versus a person who really was not even promised, who was not even a politician, who delivered on areas that people really least expected.
Okay.
So what people are looking for is the antithesis of what they are seeing now. And what they are seeing in Dr. Matiangi is exactly what they are looking for. So his excitement, and it's across the board, I understand. It's not just in one area. It's across the board. And that is the reason why the present administration should not sleep. They really have to find a strategy. And the only strategy they have is to make sure that there is more than two strong presidential candidates running against the sitting president. But if the two of them were left one-on-one, man-to-man, mudu kwa mudu, then there's going to be a big duel.
It's game shot.
Right.
So what you are intimidated is that Dr. Matiang is a creation of Ruto. Because Ruto promised a lot, but he has not delivered anything. Now they wanted to pick a person who has a track record. Because they are asking Ruto has
yes, and exactly that's what I'm saying. Matiang is becoming so popular because Ruto is not delivering.
Yeah.
Another thing is Matiang is becoming as a savior. A replacement of the disappointments that Kenyans have gone through. Number one, is a person who has been tested. He performed during Uhurus regime. People kind of trust him. He used to tell them, he cries before them. You know, you can't do this thing. For instance, in the schools that he used to go, you can't do this because we have been given money to perform, but you guys, you are not performing. He's a guy that who want to implement and act and save the Kenyans from all these problems that we have. Actually, I talked to Dr. Tari Matiang the other day. He says this guy has messed our country. That was his sentiment. His sentiment. It is true that he has messed up everywhere you go. Ruto, he has no plan to salvage Kenyans from where we are. We are still going to the deep. Now he's in Nyanza. Doing what? He's not even sitting down and thinking, how can he save the country? Students are not going to school, Mr. Ndum, Dr. Ndim. They don't, universities are not there. I mean, Kenyans are crying. Hospitals, there's no medication. What is he doing as a president?
But now this is Ruto came to office. He amassed enough wealth and he had mastered that the Kenyans, you can turn the Kenyans with money.
Yeah.
And I think even in this time, what he did with this administration, now that he is the president, he has amassed a lot of wealth from Kenya, even the Shah, all of those things are there just to make for money. So he's coming with a financial chest, a big financial chest. How will Matiangi go defeat a man who has the financial muscle to defeat him?
Before Ndimu jumps in, I want to inject something there, Dr. You remember Jensi said, Matiang, we want your name. We don't want even your money. Do you remember that? And Raila was supposed to come in to save the country. He joined him. He joined Ruto. So Jensis, they don't have a way to represent themselves or to say what they want. They only want a president who can feel them and who can represent them. So the money here, I think, is not a factor. But of course, the guy needs money. But people are feeling that we want just to vote this guy out. There is a sentiment came the other day, he says, even if Ruto will be counting his own votes, the votes in Kenya, still he will be defeated.
Okay.
Right. I couldn't say even better than you have said it. You've said it well. And we have several examples where money sometimes does not buy leadership. There are times when it can, and there are times when it cannot. It depends on the environment and the situation at the time when this money can buy or cannot buy. So there are elections that when they occur, people either are going to vote somebody against somebody, or they are going to vote for somebody.
Yeah.
So in this case, Kenyans are going to vote against somebody. They are not going to vote for somebody.
Yes.
But they also have identified, in this case, which is more dangerous now for Ruto, they have also identified a person they will vote for. So that is a double tragedy for Ruto. If you hear me well. There are times when people just walk in and say, you know what, I don't care who I'm going to vote for. This guy has to go.
Yep.
And then they walk in and they vote for however they vote. There are times when people go in and vote for somebody. They don't care about the person sitting in office, but they go vote for somebody. But there are times now they are going to vote strongly against somebody and strongly for somebody. So the person in office, therefore, is in higher danger of losing because people are strongly against him, yet they have identified a replacement for him who is exciting them. So that's a double edge for the sitting president.
Yeah.
So now back to the original question, where you said, how can Dr. Matiang really survive in the face of so much money that people expect?
Yeah.
Here is how. We have seen even the most recent election here in the United States, in the neighboring state of Wisconsin, where Elon Musk spent $20 million to vote in a church. Yet the person who was running against only spent a few $1 million. The other person lost in spite of the money.
Yeah.
And look at the previous election where Kamala Harris had more money than Trump. Remember?
Yeah.
She had more money than Trump. In combined. She still lost.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's about money. And we have several examples in Kenya where sitting MPs or sitting governors with more money have lost, versus those who are coming in. So again, all he needs is to have the bare minimum logistical support, money enough to put and lay out logistical support that he needs. It's not about money dishing out, because Ruto exactly did that. But see what we got. People from the mountain who really form the bulk of the population that votes as a bloc, if they have moved away from him, and I believe you showed a clip here not so long ago, that he has a 3-day or 4-day tour again in Nyanza.
Yeah.
And he was there not so long ago. He's keeping coming back to Nyanza to, I believe, find a replacement of what he has lost from the mountain. Would there be enthusiasm enough to find enough basket of votes to replace the mountain? Would there be enough enthusiasm for him?
That's a good question you are asking. And look here. I think Ruto had all plans. He knew that during his re-election, he may not be with the mountain as such. The reason is, now that he has caught the rider, he thinks he has replaced what he has lost from the mountain. He has seen he has now Nyanza, he has Western, Rift Valley, Northeastern, so that he has a route to presidents. That's what he's banking on.
Two things. If you go to the past 4 elections, presidential elections, the highest turnout has always been in central Kenya.
Yeah.
Central Kenya, they always turn out up to almost 80% of the voters come out. In Nyanza, turnout is below 76%. Even when we have a presidential candidate in the name of Raila Odinga. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to run. It appears like Mzee Odinga is not going to run again. I don't think there will be a lot of excitement in that population that he has been exciting a lot for many years to come out and vote for Ruto. Number two, there was a correction that Mzee Raila put into place for many years. From Nyanza, he had the Gusii community, the Kuria community. From Western, he had the Luya community supporting him. Are you sure that this community will follow Raila and vote for Ruto? I doubt, because if indeed Matiang is going to vote, I mean, he's going to run for office, then the Upper Gusii community is going to, by default, rally behind him, and that's almost 1-point-something million votes gone from the basket that Raila has always depended on. And without him running for office, there would be little excitement in Nyanza, and therefore the turnout would be in their 50%, the percentile of 50%, 56%. Western Kenya would be with a young man coming in known as Ntembea, who is exciting so many and is becoming a force in Western Kenya. It all depends on who he will support at the time come the next elections. And on and on and on. If we do an analysis on and on. So the fact that he's going to depend on Raila, he might not get what Raila used to get from the population that Raila used to garner votes from.
Well, that's a good analysis. But then also you have to understand that there is an elephant in the room. We have had political kingpins, local kingpins, who have controlled their territories, you know, and these are the people who have been in opposition. What would you advise them? Like, we have Kalonzo Musyoka, who has been running for president. We have Eugene Wamalwa. We have that, like, from now the mountain, there is Gachawa, who is fierce campaigning, and he is holding a grip in the mountain. What will you talk about those people now that Matiang is appearing like a political neophyte coming to the block? What would you advise the other opposition leaders?
Before my friend Penn, maybe he has more experience with the kingpins than I do. What I can refer you back to is 2007, the elections of 2007. We had regional kingpins who was swept by that wave of ODM. From Gusii, we had Simon Nyachai, who rose very early in the morning. Nobody knew that by 10 o'clock he lost, yet he was considered the kingpin of the Upper Gusii at the time.
But at least he got all the votes of the Kisii then.
No, I'm talking about 2007, not 2002.
Oh, okay, yeah.
2007. When the wave came, he rose very early in the morning. He was no longer the kingpin. He used to be. He became the former kingpin.
Okay.
In Western Kenya, the sitting vice president at the time lost. Mudia Awori. He was considered to be the kingpin of the Luya at the time because he was the sitting vice president. He lost even his membership, MP parliamentary seat at the time. And if you, I'm telling you, look at 2007 elections when Kenyans thought enough is enough, we're done. There was a wind that swept through the country that was bringing change. So the political kingpins that you are talking about, maybe Moses Mudavadi, who remember even from his own county, is ODM even right now, and do you consider him a kingpin? I'm not sure.
He's in UDA, you know, with him is in UDA. The only man in Western now is Eugene Wamalwa and Wetangula. Wetangula has his party still.
Maybe Moses Wetangula from the Bukusu Bungoma area.
Yeah.
But there are not really very many strong kingpins right now in the country as we speak, except for Kalonzo Musyoka, actually, who has a basket.
Yeah.
And Moses Wetangula. Those are the only two. And they're holding only a small fraction of Kenyans. Okay. So with the excitement of the new electorate coming in, who are chances, considered chances, who in their rallying cry was they are tribalist, partyless, leaderless, therefore not subscribing to the kings we call them the regional kings, for example. I think if Matiangi or however they select really excites people will go and see beyond the kingpins that we're talking about.
Okay. Ben, what do you have to say about the kingpins?
Yeah, I think Dr. is right. This time around, the kingpins may not work.
Mm.
I think 2002 will repeat itself, and the 2007, whereby people want to come up. You remember in Jungwa?
Mm.
People come together to remove wherever who comes and removes the current president.
Mm.
That's who they will support. That's
Mm.
what I feel, and that's my view.
Mm.
So I agree with my core that this time round, Daktari,
Mm.
it will be an history that people were waiting for that day. Do you see the other day people were coming up and saying, maybe we should not wait for 5 years. Maybe the constitution says next year it will be 5 years. People are eager to go vote. That's why we're encouraging people that talking is one. We need to have our own power of voting. Register, so if you want to change. And let me tell you, Dr. Ndimo, next time, it will not matter if we have money or not. If you have an idea, you will sweep the votes. You see now,
Right.
Morara, people are supporting Morara to go and give them the reports. You
Mm.
think you think the dynamics are changing? Yes, in
Mm.
Kenya.
So the other thing that might excite Kenyans, which has especially the older Kenyans of my category who have been around for a while,
Mm.
is the fact that if somebody is not going to run from Central Kenya for presidency,
Yes.
that will also energize Kenyans.
Yep.
Because honestly, the Kenyans are tired with people coming, the presidency rotating between the two regions only.
Mm.
So if somebody else is going to run for office and people from the mountain
Mm.
will really consider supporting that person,
Mm.
and they go full swing, then that person has a shot at the presidency. The fact that, and the only way,
Mm.
and I believe President Ruto is praying so hard, and he's a prayerful man.
Mm.
The only way he will win that presidency, and very early in the morning, if Wamunyoro, is it Wamunyoro?
Yeah, the
Gachagua is actually allowed to run for office. If he's allowed to run for office with his anger, because he's very angry right now, he wants to make Ruto one-term president. He strongly believes he can beat Ruto in the ballot box. But the rest of Kenyans are looking and watching. They will say they would rather have somebody else than Wamunyoro.
So
Ruto will win the presidency very early in the morning.
But
if Gachagua runs for office.
With Gachagua, I don't see the way out. The same bench which passed the verdict has been chosen by the Chief Justice. So are they going to give any other different? Well, I may not know, but there is also a sentiment among the Kenyan people. I mean, if we are going to those kingpins, there is, like we said, Karonzo is still popular. I mean, he commands a big chunk of votes. So you may say, I'm bringing a big chunk, I should be considered. Why would they want to leave it to Matiangi, and the Matiangi seems to command view votes in his basket, as they say? Why would he give it out like that?
Right. Two things really work against Karonso. People are so used with him. Kenyans are feeling like this is you're one of the elite and one of the politicians who have been around forever.
Yeah.
He has been running for office since 1986. That's 40 years. He has been in politics for 40 years. Either a member of parliament, a minister, or whoever he has been for 40 years.
Yeah.
I think Kenyans are ready for a change. He's a career politician. Kenyans are ready for somebody who is not even a career politician. And Matiangi really falls into the description of what Kenya needs. Never run for office, never done anything in politics. He's just simply a person who goes there and does his job as assigned by the powers that be. And the powers that be in this time around would be Kenyans that will assign him the job. If he was able to deliver by being assigned a task by a sitting president, what if Kenyans really give him the mandate? Kenyans themselves, if they gave him the mandate, what will they expect?
Actually, if we go with, if you look at the history of Botswana, it mirrors Kenya. We got election. Even I think somebody had written an article before the last year's our election, where actually he predicted that that Ruto will be a president according to the history of Botswana, which mirrors the one in Kenya. That is how the 2019, the vice president then was running for president, and the president, who was also the son of the founding father in Botswana, decided to support opposition. But he ended up winning as the vice president, Dr. Masisi. Dr. Masisi also became very bad. He had a private army which was terrorizing people like Ruto was doing. And he became a one-term president. Last year he lost election to a newcomer, Duma Boko. So it mirrors that, and I remember that is when one journalist explained it. Then I said, wow, this looks the same. So really, things don't look rosy for Ruto because of the bitterness and the other things. But it will also depend with the opposition, how opposition will, if they want to coalesce on Matiang. But if they want to go separate ways, then they will lose. Opposition will lose if they don't unite. Right.
And Ruto was and is actually still a very good student of the late President Mzee Moi.
Yeah.
Mzee Moi knew how to walk on the Kenyan political scene like a giraffe. Yeah. Whoever knew until recently that he was the one funding Ken Matiba's campaigns, whoever knew that
he divided the opposition.
Yeah, he knew exactly what was doing.
The same way he could rally behind someone. And who knows, as you are saying, that he can get a potential person who can run, split the votes, then he can win.
Right. But, so that's what I'm saying. It's too early to tell. And the formation is too early even to know. There hasn't been a formation yet anyway. It's only at its infancy. What we know is we have a sitting president. What we know for sure is he will defend his seat. And what we know for sure that he will be a very strong candidate and to beat. What we don't know, though, who is going to run against. We have 5 declared presidential candidates. We have Kalonzo Musyoka. We have Wamunyoro, because it might be cleared with the courts. We have Eugene Wamario. We have Natembeya is kind of testing his waters from Trans Nzoia.
He looks like a very promising guy.
Right.
And this way of terrorizing them, actually, they are even making them very popular.
Right.
Now, I wanted to pose a question. You give your own personal opinion. If you are consulted by Dr. Fred Matiang, what advice would you give him? What does he need to do right now? Ben.
I think that's a very good question, Dr. First of all, I would advise him to continue engaging the Kenyans, to reach other communities apart from Mount Kenya. Kisirand, he was in Kisirand the other day. He has a good chance of putting all his team together to reach every community to the same message of change.
Okay.
That's the advice I can give.
Thanks. Dr. Lim.
It's tough. To have him, the only thing I'll ask him is to keep the momentum going. It's going to be tough for him to keep this momentum going for for more than 2 years from now. And number two, and most critical, he doesn't have to win using the old guard. He should stay away from using the established old guard. What do I mean by that? We already know who the old guard are in the Kenyan political scene. He can have them, but not the face of what he wants to have as a campaign for his presidency. He should look for new faces. He should be able to crop it together, not at community level, like I'm carrying this the kingpin from Western Kenya. I'm carrying the kingpin from Central Kenya. He should find a way of getting into the grassroots himself, connecting to the grassroots, inspiring people to wake up very early in the morning to go vote for him, not against Ruto. If they go voting for him, and yet, because we know there are people who are really going to vote for against Ruto, that for sure we know. He will find a way of engaging people, go vote for him and not necessarily against Ruto. In that way, when he wins, he will have the mandate, and people will be able to give him that mandate, including the people that he will work with. And that's my piece of advice.
Wow, that's very good. Thanks, gentlemen. Our time is gone here. Thank you for your time, Ben and Dr. Ndimo, for taking your time. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.